Alright, time for a comic book recap plus review. I even have a card for these now. Kinda needless, isn't it? Today we have the first issue of Sir Jack Quimby's third run on Captain America. We have Captain America 193 featuring Madbomb. It can destroy the world. This begins a divisive run on Captain America, written and penciled by the character's original co-creator, Jack Quimby. I think the problem with this run has always been the unfair expectations and a lot of misplaced entitlement. For this first one, I am going to try and look past the negative reception. I won't worry about it too much. Sometimes you've just got to let yourself enjoy a comic. We have a cover here by Quimby and Junior Senior, very famous cover. And on the theme of famous things, we start with Captain America and Falcon Man seemingly doing battle with the logo of the Rolling Stones. This first page is symbolic. It is a Silly Age style splash that acts as practically a second cover. It's meant to hook you. They don't actually fight a giant mouth. It's meant to represent the Madbomb driving them crazy. Or, if you want to for some reason, you can pretend Captain America or Falcon Man are remembering about 20 issues back when they fighted Squealy. We actually begin with some Armin Tamzarian style shit, with the comic telling you that all the characters have moved on from Falcon Man being revealed to be a drug dealing pimp. They are going to pretend like that never happened, and that none shall ever refer to it again under penalty of torture. Captain America and Falcon Man, they are having an intense arm wrestle, which seems very unfair to Falcon Man. But then, before Captain America can win down to his chemical advantage, they both snap and go mental and they start fighting. Try it, Whitey. Just try it. Then, Falcon Man's bird tries to stab them. His girlfriend, not his pet falcon. Things de-escalate, and what you have just witnessed is Madbomb. It can destroy the world. I'll also point out that the arm wrestle, while inauspicious enough, I think that may have been Jack Quimby actually trying to subtly tell readers that Captain America no longer has his superhuman strength. He's back to his regular peak human strength. Either way, it's still an unfair contest for Falcon Man. If you don't know, I've talked about it before, but I'll explain it again here since this is the start of a run. Before this, Steve Rogers had ingested an antidote to a poison, and the side effect was that it increased his strength. He now had actual super strength. But nothing was really done with that, and it kind of was slowly forgotten about and then just disappeared. And I mentioned it, but I don't think it'll come up again. Falcon Man, he had his origin retconned just before this, badly. We're just meant to ignore that though. They were not the intended targets of the Madbomb. It just affects everyone in the area. And what I love about the Madbomb is that I don't have to explain what it is. Its name sums it up. It is a bomb that makes people go mad. So we have rioting in the streets, looting, fighting, probably some man-on-man rape too. We don't see that though. It was only the 70s, they wouldn't show that in a comic yet. Captain America, he is there to stop all this violence and the bum raping and to try and save some lives. And noticeably, Falcon Man isn't there with him. He isn't lending a helping hand. Maybe he's the one that's getting it in the arse. Captain America discovers the Madbomb secreted in an alleyway, and he crawls over to it, being driven madder and madder the closer he gets to it. But he is able to disable it. He destroys it. He smashes it with his shield. And so with that, we have everyone reverting to normal, and a great picture of Captain America in the aftermath of the carnage. There was, I don't know why I am mentioning it, there was a comic a few years ago that embellished on this. It picked up on the aftermath of this riot. It had this really nice cover, and then the story inside was absolute trash. They saw the Try It Whitey panel and made that into a whole story. It was all proper race-baiting garbage. I don't recommend it. Written by the same Wankstein that did What If Jesus Came Back to Life, but he was a superhero and he was a selfish jerk. The type of person that writes Harlequin stories. That gets across how painful he is. Extremely unfunny. An unfunny guy who made being funny his thing. One Star Squadron, that was him. One Star Squadron. That fucking unreadable dreck. One Note Squadron, that is what I called it. Fucking the worst comedy ever. It's just the same tired. This silly character is so lame, tee-hee. It's just that joke over and over again. Falcon Man, better late than never. He doesn't let his recent sexual assault stop him from saving an hard granny from being crushed by a sign. Then we have a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent we have never seen before and will never see again. He shows up to explain what is going on to the two heroes. This S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, I believe this to be an editorial thing. I reckon Jack Quimby wrote generic government CIA guy, but someone in production switched it to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. If it was meant to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, it would have been one of the ones we've seen before, or they would at least be wearing a proper S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. I think it's like in New Gods where they did the same thing. There was a group of government agents and someone re-scripted it to work in that they were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And so that is the only reference in that series that sets it in the Marvel Universe. A mistake needs to be rectified. I missed this Marvel value stamp when I was showing them. We have a small piece of Spider-Man, a very, very small piece of Spider-Man, like an inch of his head. Most of the stamp is just text saying, "The Amazing Spider-Man." That's good, isn't it? We also have letters from, well, there's one from Steve Rogers, but I don't think it's Captain America. Doesn't sound like him. I think it's another guy called Steve Rogers. Maybe it's that guy from the 1950s who had plastic surgery to look like Steve Rogers. Maybe it's his letter. And before that, we have one from Dean Mullaney. You'll see letters from him in loads of Bronze Age Marvel. He goes on to found Eclipse, and before that, he co-published Marky Mark G's fanzine, Omniverse. Part of the reason I don't think that guy was meant to be an S.H.I.E.L.D. agent is that he takes them to Henry Kissinger, special celebrity guest star Henry Kissinger. It would make more sense if they were a CIA or Secret Service agent. But S.H.I.E.L.D. does sometimes cover some similar ground. It's not unworkable. Captain America and Falcon Man, they meet Henry Kissinger, who was Secretary of State at the time, and he would also appear as a pseudo-villain against Fantastic Force. One of those things where it's weird that it happened twice. In 1976, there were 2 Marvel comics with splash page appearances of Henry Kissinger. The other one was in Supervillain Team Up. And I remember I saw, it might have been in back issue, or maybe it was Steve Engelstein who wrote it. It might have been on his website 100 years ago. I remember he, or whoever, said of the book, in a series called Supervillain Team Up, perhaps the most evil villain to feature was Henry Kissinger. And that is great, because the person is trying really hard to be political and eviscerate the former secretary. But they're also talking about a comic that literally starred Adolf Hitler for 2 issues. Say what you want about Mr. Kissinger, but I dare say Hitler was definitely worse. He is depicted a tiny bit more flattering in this, Henry Kissinger. He's still broadly diabolical, but he's not teaming up with Mr. Doom this time around. He then explains the Madbomb, and a lot of exposition related to it. He explains how it can destroy the world. And we have bigger and badder and madder mad bombs to come. The mad bomb and the people using it, they will form the first ongoing story arc of this run. I don't want to get too into it, as I want to look at it all on here, but I did want to show in advance the double spread from the start of next issue. There's more than a few things I chose not to talk about this time. I didn't want to overload this video since it is the beginning of a run, and I didn't want to get into the same negative spiral that made the old video featuring this run an obstacle. As first issues go, I think Jack Quimby left a lot out of this one. There are sequences involving Henry Kissinger's death traps and fighting Henry Kissinger's goons that I didn't even see fit to mention. And they are bits that I would point to as a waste of time. Jack Quimby gives us the setup for the story, but if he had chopped out the unnecessary bits, the stuff that feels like aimless padding, he could have included a lot more in this issue than just setup. I don't hate it, but I've got 7 thumbs up for it.